Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Tavern. I have with me, as ever, Andy. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Hamish. How you doing
Yeah,
today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing good. Good.
Well, I mean, how can we not be doing okay when we've got the Premier League starting very, very soon? It's
In 4 hours?
yeah, yeah. It's Arsenal Brentford at 8 o'clock this evening, 8 o'clock UK time. So yeah, looking forward to it. I'm not going to be able to watch the game tonight, but apart from that, I can watch Man United against Leeds tomorrow. So we're all
Oh,
good.
excellent.
We're all
That'll be
good.
good.
Yeah, yeah. So are you excited for the return of football? It doesn't feel like that long since we've been talking football. To be fair.
No, I think we've it's that funny time of year when it's a funny year when we get a little bit extra football because of the Euros, and we I've had a great time over the summer discussing that with you. But I'm really looking forward to the teams that are closest to our hearts. Really, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Although West Ham haven't actually but well, we bought a goalkeeper and we might be buying a
score.
defender at some point.
Yeah, I
So,
saw an interview with David Moyes saying that he was still hopeful of bringing in some bodies to provide competition, to provide some depth of squad, that kind of thing. But
mhm.
yes, it's a bit challenging. A bit challenging.
It's a massive worry. It's a huge worry, but it is what it is. And like I say, I'm a West Ham supporter, so I'm used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the trouble. I have to say. I know I'm not expecting you to feel sorry for me when I say this. Don't worry. But there was that thing of like when Man United, when Ferguson left, it was a bit of a shock to the system to me, just not like winning everything. So it
Mhm.
is definitely what you get used to. Is definitely part of it. Is like yeah, I
Well,
was used to.
last season was weird for me because we were winning loads. I was like,
Oh dear, good times, good times. Well, so what we've got kind of in store for today, we've both got some predictions of how we think the Premier League table is going to end up
yeah,
in all those months' time, which we will chat through. We've also created some fantasy football teams, so we can talk through some players on there. So lots of things to kind of get us excited about, get us started with all this stuff going on. Um, should we go straight into the tables and talk about our predictions?
that sounds like a really good idea. Yes,
Let's do
yes.
it.
I haven't seen your predictions yet either.
No, and I have seen yours because I had to turn it into the thing,
Yeah,
but I deliberately didn't look too closely. I didn't like dissect it, so we can kind of talk it through. So here we go. This is what we've got. So Andy's predictions are next to him. My predictions are next to me. Um, and we've got the same champions.
yeah.
Yeah. I think broadly speaking, our predictions. I'm just having a look down. Our predictions are relatively similar, but I think should we start at the top and work our way down?
Yeah, who's going first?
Well, shall we? Let's start with like Man City. We've both got Man City as our champions, haven't we?
Yeah, I don't think there's a club on. I don't think there's a club out there that can touch Man City at the moment. I think Grealish has been a fantastic addition to the team. It's going to be interesting to see how they set up. I still feel that they're missing their out and out striker. I mean,
I agree.
losing Aguero is probably going to be the hardest thing they got. But they've
Completely agree with you.
when you think about how Grealish and Sterling linked up over the Euros, um, I wouldn't be too worried. But I think there's still a chance that Kane can move to them. Um,
Absolutely. That's kind of
but
the
like I
big
say,
the big question, I guess, for us at the moment with Man City, but with all the teams, is we can only base it on like what's happened so far and what we know. So there's a few predictions in here that could easily change based on what's happening. Um, but Pete's come in with a hydrate.
Pete's
Hello,
got a
Pete.
hydrate.
Good to see you.
I'm well prepared and well stocked.
I'm going for a
And
juice option today.
Konani has asked who's got the most Dutch players.
That's a very good
I'm going to
question,
say
actually.
Wolves.
You reckon Wolves? Wolves?
No, no,
Wolves have the
no.
most Portuguese players.
They have the. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
sorry.
Um,
That's not me getting them mixed up. I was thinking of Den Donker, but he's
Leander Den
Belgian.
Donk is Belgian. Yeah. I don't know. That's a very good question. What I'm going to deflect and say is that I see that Van Gaal has taken on the Netherlands job again. First job, I think, since having the Man United manager's job, I believe. So, yeah.
I
So
think Liverpool's got the most Dutch players
Virgil van
with
Dijk. at the
Yeah.
back.
And well, they did have Wijnaldum as
Yeah,
well, but
Jorginho Wijnaldum has gone to PSG.
he's gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It might even be like Aston Villa or something. He's got the most Dutch players.
I tell you what, I'm gonna see if Google can answer this for me. Team with the most Dutch players, Premier
Holland national side.
uh, players abroad, Netherlands. Oh, there's another hydrate from Pete while we're looking at this. Oh, here we go. Okay, players in England. Okay, uh, the answer might be Man City. Funnily enough. I'm just having a look. Man City have Nathan Ake in defence, and they have P. Sandler. Honestly, I don't even know who that is. We've got Eric Peters at Burnley, Joel Veltman at Brighton, Kay Sherpen at Brighton as well. There's two Brightons. Tim Krul at Norwich.
Oh, Norwich, yeah.
Van der Beek at Man United. Riedewald at Crystal Palace. Van Dijk at Liverpool. Kiana Hoover at Wolves. Anwar El Ghazi at Aston Villa. I can't think who. There's a P. Strike at Leeds United. I can't think who that is. And Stephen Bergwijn at Tottenham Hotspur are all of the. Oh, Kjell Sherpen. There you go. Good stuff, Konani. I'm hoping that Donny van der Beek has a better season at Man United this season. He didn't have the best season last season, but I think a lot of that was based on the fact that he was new and there was kind of an established midfield and things like that. So I've got high hopes for him. But I agree, just to go back to the tables, I agree with you about Man City. I would say at the moment they're a little bit weaker than they were last season overall.
Yeah.
I think Grealish is a good addition. I'm not sure how... he's a good player. He's going to fit in, but how does that fit into their system? I think it will need to change a little bit. They don't have an out-and-out striker at the moment. So I think there are some question marks there. So for me... Yeah. That's kind of the big question, right? Is if City play at the level they did, certainly the last 2/3 of last season, they're going to be champions again.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember there's De Bruyne. Has he? Is he still injured?
Kevin De Bruyne, I think, is still injured, but I don't think will be for too much longer because he got injured at the Euros, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I think he's going to miss the first few bits.
Second and third, we kind of switched it around.
Yeah,
I kind of detect a bit of team loyalty there. Though.
I don't know what you mean. Man United finished second last season. I'm just predicting the same finish this season. I think where I'm going with that, honestly, I think Man United, Chelsea are going to be very close, I would guess.
Yeah.
I think Man United have got quite a lot stronger since last season. Raphael Varane, the deal still hasn't quite finished. They still haven't gone through, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave an update today to say it hasn't quite finished, but it's very close. So it's not that it's fallen apart or anything. Jadon Sancho, I think, is a good addition. The other player we've brought in is Tom Heaton as a third-choice goalkeeper. I don't think he's going to make a huge impact on the Premier League, but so I think Man United have got stronger. Sorry?
Who did he play for before
Tom Heaton was at Burnley, I think.
Burnley.
Was he the second choice behind Nick Pope, I think. So Man United picked him up on a free. He was a Man United youth player many years ago. I think he left like 11 years ago or something. So he's gone back.
I've put my eggs into the basket that is Chelsea, and I just feel like the past 2 seasons they've had the transfer embargo, they've had some management upheaval, but I think they've pretty much Chelsea's been let off the leash at the moment. You know, Abramovich has got his checkbook out. They've got Lukaku coming in.
Yeah.
And I think the likes of Mason Mount are only just going to get better. And I really think it's going to be very tight between Chelsea and Man U.
I agree. I think I kind of debated backwards and forwards between which of them to go second. I think having had Man United second last season and with them getting a bit stronger, I didn't want to admit that we might not finish second. But I think you're right. I think Chelsea are looking good. I think Romelu Lukaku is a good addition. Incidentally, Lukaku now becomes the football player with the most cumulative transfer fee in history.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
What, about 400 million, 300 million?
It's about
now?
300 million, yeah, because he went to Chelsea for 20 million from Anderlecht. He went from Chelsea to Everton for about 30, I think. Yeah. Man United paid like 75 for him, sold him to Inter for about 80 million, and now Chelsea have bought him for about 100 million, like 98 million or something.
Definitely a journeyman.
The ridiculous thing is, second place is Neymar, who's only about £20 million behind, and he's only made 2 transfer moves. So, I mean, that's what happens when a team pays £130 million or something for one player. But
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, I think we're kind of broadly in agreement. I think Man United and Chelsea are going to be pretty close. I still see some issues. I'm not sure Chelsea have the strongest defence. I think some of their players are getting a little bit older.
Mm,
Azpilicueta is getting a
yeah.
bit older. I'm not convinced by Kurt Zuma at the back, but there's some rumours that they might be selling him anyway. So I think
We
there
were
are
interested.
weaknesses there, but I think Chelsea have some great attacking players.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be strong there. We've both got Liverpool in fourth.
Yeah, and Leicester.
Yeah, and Leicester in fifth. Yeah.
It's a funny one. It's like I put Liverpool because it's Liverpool, not because of anything spectacular or anything. But Leicester, I really feel like they're probably the club that's on the up more than anyone else in the league.
I think part of the reason that I've put Leicester there is that I think in recent years they've consistently underestimated them, and they've
Yeah,
consistently been doing well in the last few seasons. I agree. I really don't like Brendan Rodgers. We don't need to go too much into why that is. Um,
Celtic,
Sorry.
Celtic.
Uh, well, honestly, so he was the Watford manager years ago. Watford are my second team. Um,
Hmm.
I was pleased to see. Incidentally, we'll come to it later. But I'm pleased to see you haven't got Watford getting relegated either. But then he left there, and he I don't know how much of this. I don't want to get sued. I don't think I'm going to. But he left his wife when he left his job, and he did lots of.
Hey, Bill. Hey,
Yeah,
Pog.
hello, Bellalurian. Yeah, Watford. Bellalurian and I both grew up in Watford, so yeah. Posture check, lovely.
He left his wife in Watford.
Sorry.
He left his wife in Watford.
So when I don't know the exact timeline, but I think he went straight from Watford to Liverpool, and when he did that, he decided he was big time, left his wife, did all sorts of things, and generally came across as a bit of a numpty. But yeah, I think Leicester have got some great players there. Just to touch back on Liverpool very quickly. Yeah, they still have a great team. I think their squad is still quite thin, which was their issue last season. I
Hmm.
think their first 11 could easily be challenging City, United, Chelsea. I think their squad is not as strong, which is why I've got them in fourth. Also, obviously, I'm a Man United fan, so I don't want Liverpool to do well. But
Yeah, I always felt that Liverpool, the Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp has become a very arrogant team. And that's something that I don't like. It's undeniable the fact that it's a team that's going to always finish in the top six
mm,
no matter what. Um, but yeah, currently Liverpool's not my favourite team at the moment purely because of the arrogance of their players.
glad to hear it.
But I agree. It's a thin squad. Like I say, you
Yep,
got a fantastic first
yep.
11. After that, I mean, like I say, they lost Van Dijk and
Mm,
Sancho last
yeah,
season. It just showed
yeah.
how, and they haven't really made that many transfers in either.
No, I don't think they have. Yeah, and like Wijnaldum, as we said before, left. I think they
Yeah,
brought in. Did they bring in Konate, the defender from Leipzig? I think.
but it doesn't seem like they've really pushed the boat out. And let's
Yeah,
say the players aren't getting any younger. They're all late 20s now.
yeah. Yeah. But and I think it's difficult having a thin squad because Klopp works the team very hard. He makes them press high. They do a lot of running, and when you have a thin squad, there's some danger of injuries. There's danger of exhaustion. All those things. Particularly this year straight after the Euros and Olympics and all those things. I think Liverpool are going to struggle with their squad again,
Yeah.
but we'll see how it goes. So our first big difference really comes in sixth. So you've got Leeds in sixth, and I've got them down in 10th. What's
Hmm.
your thinking for Leeds in sixth?
To be honest with you, the mid table altogether, I'm not too sure about. So I will talk through my feelings on each and every one of them. I think Leeds have a very different style of playing,
Hmm.
which either goes really well or really against them. I think we did got 6 points against them last season, but at the same time they were really like frightening Man City.
Hmm. I think they drew
Um,
at least one of the games with City. I'm trying to remember. I
yeah,
think they got a 2-2 against City.
yes, yeah. So I think they've got a good squad. I don't think they've had too many players coming in, but I think they're similar to my team in that there's a lot of deals going on, and there's argy-bargy with other clubs as well. So they might have some players coming in next week, I think, or at least before the window closes.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, so you've got Leeds in 6th, and I've got them down in 10th. I think I wouldn't really disagree with any of the analysis there. I think Marcelo Bielsa is a good manager. I mean, he's looked up to, I think, like Pep Guardiola, I think, has said that
Yeah.
Bielsa is the manager he looks up to most in the world and things.
Yeah.
So, he's quite good. I feel like sometimes Bielsa has a little bit of tactical stubbornness. Like he has a way to play, and that's how you do it. And sometimes in like the Premier League, you have to be a little bit more pragmatic than that. I also think there's just a little bit of a danger of that like second season syndrome. I think Leeds, before they got promoted to the Premier League, Leeds were, the questions asked about them again were always Bielsa gets them working so hard, and they got exhausted towards the end of the season. Can you, in the Premier League, cope with everything going on? Now, I've only got them down in 10th. I think I definitely don't see them having any like relegation issues, anything like that. But I think I probably just see them as that one notch slightly below where you've got them.
Yeah. Just to say as well, Bielsa's one of those managers. I think of him like Arsene Wenger in the way that when Arsene Wenger came on the scene, the Premier League changed forever, sort of thing, because he brought in this. I think he was like the first foreign manager in the Premier League or something.
I think he was pretty close to that, yeah.
And he just brought in a completely new way of playing, and the Premier League was just completely turned over its head, and everyone had to relearn, sort of thing. Or even Ferguson did, sort of thing.
I would say a very similar thing about Mourinho as well. When he first came in, he kind of first brought 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 in.
Yeah.
Everyone had a lot to adapt. And now obviously,
I think if Bielsa does a lot well this season, you might see the Premier League changing over the next 3 or 4. The way the game plays. That's just a crystal ball back on a fag packet sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's interesting. I mean, that's what we're here for, isn't it? Though, really, is those kind of wild predictions, and then we get to see how they play out. So I had Everton up in 6th. This is a little bit of a wild card one for me. I think. So Everton have brought in Rafael Benitez as their new manager. Very controversial, ex-Liverpool manager. I think Benitez is undeniably a good manager. I think Everton have some really good players. Part of me thinks that if Benitez can get all those players playing well, I think 6th is entirely conceivable. Where I would caution against my own optimism for Everton here is Carlo Ancelotti is also a very good manager, and he couldn't quite get them all playing well last season. And I think there's already talk about like whether James Rodriguez will still be at Everton next, after the next few weeks. Yeah, a little bit of a different layout, Lenore. I wanted to make sure that we could fit in all of the. These are our predicted finishes for the Premier League. So we're talking through where we think we're going to finish. Yes, lovely to see you. I think I agree with you in a sense that anywhere between about 6th and 12th or so. I feel like there's a close group there.
Yeah, I think if you look at it, we've got the same ones between 6 and 12.
Broadly speaking, yeah, I think that's
probably even 13. Actually, no, 6 and 13.
Yeah,
it could be. You just roll the dice on those.
It's interesting that like we kind of have 3 sets, don't we? So we each have the top 5 with a little bit of variation, and then 6 to 13, and then 14 to 20. So yeah, there's
Which is what it works out to be anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So okay, so we've both got Tottenham in 7th. Talk to me about Tottenham. I know you enjoy talking about Tottenham.
I love talking about Tottenham. It's going to be a funny one. I think it's going to be. It's either Tottenham are either going to do as well as that. I really can't see them being a top 6 side no matter what this season. I really can't. It's either going to be a case of they're going to lose Kane and they'll struggle, or they'll keep Kane and Kane won't be happy and they'll struggle. If you've got any sort of discontent in the dressing room, and Kane isn't someone who's going to be discontented, he's just going to be heartbroken. Because I think that's the type of guy that he is, and it's going to be very hard for him to captain a top team, and that's really hurt me to say that. By the way, I can feel my tattoo burning. Because they've got fantastic players, but being able to captain a team like that with a heavy heart is going to be impossible.
Yeah.
And Nuno Espirito Santo, fantastic manager. And I remember when an interview with Conor Cody at Wolves and how ecstatic the Wolves players were to play under him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will he be able to do that at Tottenham? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's the same sort of mindset as the players at Tottenham have as they do.
Yeah, I think, funnily enough, my analysis, which led me to put Tottenham in seventh, is almost exactly the same as yours. Like, I feel like Nuno is a great manager. He did great things at Wolves. I mean, he did bring in, most of the Wolves team for a while were Portuguese. So, they just had that, they were all there together. I think Tottenham have great players. I think Harry Kane is going to be such a big deciding factor if he stays, if he goes. As you say, if they can get him happy enough to play, let's say they eventually say to him, great, we'll play for us one more season and then we'll sell you for X, whatever. And he says, you know what, I'm going to do the best I can, get myself a big move next summer. It's hard to see that happening, to be honest. But if they do that, I think, you said seventh is the absolute highest. I can maybe see them sneaking into sixth, but I can't see them cracking the top five there.
Honestly, I think the morale's going to be so shot. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be in the bottom half of the table come Christmas.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it's probably going to be, and Nuno will probably take the fall for that, and it won't be his fault. No. Never be his fault. And then you'll see a late charge from Tottenham.
So you reckon they'll replace their manager? I mean, it only took them like 10 potential managers or something to get one in this time. So
yeah. You also got to remember there's a massive financial crisis at Tottenham, and they've also got the European Conference League as well.
Yep, very true. Very true. I think Tottenham do have a decent sized squad. They have quite a few youngish English players around there as well.
Harry Winks.
Harry Winks. Even Oliver Skipp, I think, is coming through into their first team. Players like that coming through. So, I think in some senses Tottenham are about the biggest. Well, to be honest, my 6 and 7, Everton and Tottenham, are probably the biggest variables in the whole league. And I've kind of put them up there, I think, on what I think is about the best they can achieve. Rather than anything else.
I would include Arsenal in that as well. I think they're the three
True.
biggest underachievers.
True. So let's move on to Arsenal. We've both got Arsenal in 8th. That won't please many Arsenal fans, I suspect, but that's fine because neither of us are Arsenal fans. Hello, Carlos. Good to see you.
Hiya, Carlos. I think with their biggest transfer being Ben White for 50 million just doesn't seem that impressive for me at all.
Yeah.
We're talking about a left back who couldn't make the England squad.
Yeah, 50 million. I think he's a centre back, isn't he? But anyway.
Sorry, centre back. Sorry.
Yeah. But he's still young. I think what I would say on that is, I said at the time of the Euros, I haven't seen enough of Ben White to say he's going to be a great player. But I'm absolutely not also saying that he's not going to be, because I just don't have the information. That is a lot of money to spend on that. I don't think they've done too much else in the transfer window. They had a pretty poor season last season. I quite like Mikel Arteta, their manager, mostly because back when I was doing my PhD at uni, I had a good friend who was an Everton fan, and at the time Mikel Arteta was playing for Everton, so it was a while ago, and he used to refer to him as Mikel Pele Arteta. So he's kind of had a bit of a soft spot. I've had a bit of a soft spot for him ever since then. But again, I can't really see Arsenal challenging. Maybe I could see them sneaking up a place or two to maybe 6th, but I can't see them challenging.
They've got no distractions. They've got no Europe, I think.
Yeah.
So this is the big thing. Arsenal, even last year, they had Europa League as a distraction. Yeah. This year there is no distraction, so this is a season where Arteta really needs to make his mark and get the squad, but decide what to do with Arsenal really.
Yeah, they've kind of, I feel like they've been going through, since Arsene Wenger left, they've been going through a very similar period to what Man United did when Alex Ferguson left.
Yeah, exactly.
And fortunately for United, we're a couple of seasons further along.
Yeah.
Probably more than that. I can't know. Ferguson retired in 2013. I'm not
sure. It's only been 3 years. Left, I think it's only been 3 years. Right. 2018, 2017.
Because they got Unai Emery in.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of him, and I think they went straight to Arteta, didn't they? So, yeah.
It's not that long.
I think they're in a very difficult position, Arsenal, at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, but again, I can't really see them not finishing in the top half either. I think there are plenty of teams that are going to finish below them,
Yeah.
but just finishing in the top half is not going to be enough for Arsenal fans.
No.
Um,
No.
so yeah, there we are. Okay, so why don't you have a quick chat about Everton, who are ninth, and then yeah, we can go on to who I've got in
I
ninth.
think it's. I think I pretty much already said it when you said it in sixth. So
Okay.
we can have a look at your ninth if you like.
Well, I've got a certain West Ham United finishing in ninth,
Yeah,
2 places higher than you've got West Ham finishing.
I know because I'm a West Ham supporter and I'm being a realist. So yeah, I'm probably going to enjoy talking about this one a little bit more, to be honest. We've got a major distraction in the Europa League.
Yeah,
We haven't been able to sign Jesse Lingard.
yeah.
We've only managed to sign a goalkeeper. We don't have a striker. I know everyone says, "Oh, Mikel Antonio is a striker." He's not a striker. He's a converted striker.
Yeah,
He's a winger.
he's really a winger, isn't he?
Yeah,
Maybe like an inside forward or whatever they call them these
yeah,
days.
and he's adaptable. He's played right back for us.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I really rate Mikel Antonio, but I think it's
yeah, me too.
unfair to say, he is our striker. We're going to put all the stuff on him when he's. I mean,
No,
what is he now? Is he 30? He's
he's 30, 31.
yeah, and I mean, he spent most of his career not playing there. Carlos says, "Yeah, it's always the worst to gamble on your team. You go for the bad result to soften the blow, or for the good one so that you have a double win." Yeah, I'm
That's me for the majority of my life,
yeah,
Carlos. Sorry.
I'm really not a betting person. I've placed maybe 4 or 5 bets in my entire life or something, but I would never bet on the team that I support. Because then it's exactly that. If they lose,
Yeah,
I'm double lost. If I bet against the team I support, at least, oh no, they've lost, but my bets come off or whatever.
yeah.
But as I say, do not take any betting advice from me because I have literally placed 4 or 5 bets in my life or something. There you
So
go.
I mean,
Betting is illegal in Brazil for most of Carlos's life. Didn't realise that.
with the West Ham team, like I said, we've got the Europa League. We've hardly got any players in. We've shipped out a couple of our younger players out on loan. There's 2 players that haven't gone out on loan, which I'm quite happy about. There's Connor Coventry,
Oh yeah.
and the other one that I'd like to see is Okuflex,
Okay.
who he was, I think he was Man United youth player,
Oh.
went to Celtic, and then joined us, literally on a free or something. Very young, seems to be. I don't know. I don't want to start saying he could be the next. I don't know,
Sure.
Jordan Sancho or something.
Yeah, but he's.
Um,
You reckon he's
but
got some potential there?
I think there's a lot of potential. But he's the second player that we've got from the Man United Youth Academy, because the other one has just gone out on loan, which I was disappointed about. But I've got a feeling it's going to be a case of we're going to have to promote our youth team, because we couldn't even put the full bench of substitutes out on our games last year.
Yeah, it is a tough one.
Very optimistic 9. I mean, I'm not even sure if I've got them right at 11, to be perfectly fair.
I think I definitely see West Ham as being solidly mid-table. I don't think they're going to be up the top end challenging like they were last season, but I also don't see them being like dragged down towards relegation.
No.
I think it will be a pretty safe season.
We'll struggle. We'll struggle
on.
for goals.
Thank you for that follow. Streamer Fund.com Alex followed. Thank you, Streamer Fund.com Alex.
And
I appreciate that.
Carlos, you've got a treat in store for you later on, and if you like fancy football.
Yeah, you do. You've got something coming up. I've just realised it's half past. We're not even.
That's why I didn't want to talk about Everton. I didn't want to control your screen.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I'll just very quick, because West Ham are your team. I just want to say I agree with you. I think there's a lot of stuff going on. I think the Europa stuff is not particularly going to help. But as I say, I don't see them being dragged down. But I also don't see. I mean, like 4th was realistic for a long time last season. I can't see them challenging for that again.
No.
But somewhere 9th, 10th, 11th seems.
I'll be. If we get 11th, I'll be over the moon.
Right.
If we get 11th and a good run in the Europa League, I'll be over the moon. Like last 16 quarterfinals. I don't know. I'll be over the moon with that.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. So I've got Leeds in 10th.
Mm-hmm.
We've already spoken about Leeds. You've got them a bit higher. I was
Yep.
saying second season, small squad, all of those kind of things coming into it. So that's why I've got them down a little bit lower in 10th. But you've got Aston Villa 10th. I've got them 11th. So we're pretty close again on Aston
Yeah,
Villa. Pretty
I
close again.
think Aston Villa have been the shrewdest people in the stock market, the transfer market,
Yeah.
day trading.
Yeah, indeed.
um, they've got Ollie Watkins up front
Hmm.
from Brentford from the previous year, and they just bought another striker, Danny Ings from
Yep.
Southampton. Now,
Yep.
when you think about that, two people up front,
Yeah.
that's like the old SAS or Shearer and Cole, and
Yeah, yeah. And I think I would say as well, they brought in on loan again Axel Twanzebe from Man United,
Mhm.
who I really rate as a. I mean, he's still quite a young defender. I think he might be 24 now, 23, 24. And he's realistically, especially with Varane coming in at Man United, Varane and Maguire are going to be our first choice.
Yeah,
And then you've got Lindelof there, Bailly rather. They were talking about him leaving. Probably now looks more likely that he'll stay. So it makes a lot of sense for Twanzebe to go out. And if he can have another great season, he can definitely come back in and really challenge at United. So I agree. I think they've done some great stuff. They did well last season. So I think, yeah, again, I think for them, I'm looking for like a mid-table. I'm not
hmm
looking at really challenging seriously for Europe, but I think they'll be completely safe. I
I
don't
don't,
think they're
I
in
don't
trouble.
think them losing Grealish is going to hurt them either because that's he is injured for quite a bit of it
Yeah,
last
absolutely. They
season.
did well last season without him for a lot of the season. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think you're right. I
so
think
well
you're right.
done.
Yeah. So you've got West Ham in 11th. We've talked about them, and we've both
Yeah,
got Wolves in 12th.
yeah. I
Um,
don't really know what to do with Wolves.
yeah. So what I would say with Wolves is they've had some great seasons. Last season wasn't as strong for them. They've lost Nuno Espirito Santo, who we said earlier, great manager. Well, I think he's a great manager.
Great
Um,
motivator.
yeah. So
I think he'd be a great manager as well.
I think that they have.
Hello, Missy. The
Oh,
only Missy's just joined as
I
well.
tell you what,
Very
you're
good to have you.
looking good for your 2 years in Paris, slow sprinter.
Yep.
Like it.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you're getting paid however many millions of dollars a year it is, you can afford to sub to the channel. But no,
They have to
good
pay
to
him
have you
high.
here, slow sprinter.
They have to pay him high because in France they
Uh,
tax millionaires a lot more.
why do people
Like a
compare
lot,
me with
lot more.
Jorginho? Oh dear. Yes. Um, Good times. But yes, very nice to have you here. So Wolves, yeah, we kind of have that in the thing. Thank you for the follow, Slow Sprinter. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it,
Thank you.
Lionel Messi. We like that. Um,
You can say
okay,
you've been followed by Messi.
I know. I can.
I can do my Harry Kane impression. You can pretend to interview me.
You do a Harry Kane impression. I like to see that.
Yeah. I do like the lads and all that. We do. Hopefully I'll be going to Man City later on, but I think I'm just going to be staying at Tottenham for the foreseeable future. But
I
yeah, my heart's heavy.
I always think Harry Kane sounds like he's got a cold all the time. He kind of talks a bit like this. Um, anyway, let's not get into impressions. That's not
Yeah,
what we're here for. Southampton at 13. We've both got Southampton at 13. Yeah, Messi spoke English for the first time on my channel. There's a shout
yeah.
about.
They've lost Danny Ings, but they've picked up Armstrong. I can't remember his first name.
Yeah,
Blackburn striker.
yeah. Used to be. He was a youth player at
Adam
Newcastle.
Armstrong, I think it is.
Adam Armstrong. Yeah, I wanted to say Alexander Armstrong, but he presents pointless, so it's probably not
He
him.
does, yeah.
Yeah, Adam Armstrong was a youth player at Newcastle. He was always talked about as being. I mean, let's be honest. On Football Manager, he was a beast if you could get him. So yeah, having him back in, I think Southampton will do fine.
Yeah,
I'm a big James Ward-Prowse fan. I would have liked to have seen him at the Euros actually with England.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's a very good player, so I think he'll do
Yeah,
well.
I think Adam Armstrong's going to be the key player. I wanted him to play for West Ham. The Championship, to be honest with you, the Championship is producing such good players at the moment. It's like it's not the it's not the league you don't want to be in anymore. It's a fantastic league.
I think there are quite a few of the younger players as well who we've talked about, like dropping out of academies or whatever it might be. So a bit like Adam Armstrong, really came through
Yeah,
at Newcastle, or didn't come through at Newcastle, dropped down a league, really did it in the Championship. I like when we talked about Ollie Watkins at Aston Villa, didn't we? And people like
mm,
that as well. So yeah, no, I agree, and I think he'll be a good addition.
yeah.
Um, yeah, especially without Danny Ings, they do need some goals. So hopefully he can hit the ground running for them. I said I'm not a Southampton fan, so but I think they will definitely want him to.
No one is.
Well, I have a good friend who's a Portsmouth fan, so I think he'd agree with you. But
See,
yeah, so sorry, so Sprinter. These are our predictions for how the league will finish. Mine are to the left of me, just here. Just as you joined a bit later, I'm Goblin Squire. So this is my channel, and that is Andy Geek Curio, and it's his predictions to the right. So this
yeah,
is what
mine
we're
is it.
predicting for this season. Yeah, and we'll see. So, and just to come clean, because you won't have heard this at the beginning, I'm a Man United fan. Andy is a West Ham fan. So that may or may not impact our predictions. Um, I ended up with both of our teams higher than Andy did in his predictions. So I don't know what that means. But,
It means I'm a West Ham fan,
yeah.
forever pessimist.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, I've got Newcastle in 14th. You've got them in 16th. I
Yeah,
think Newcastle have. I think I'm not sure if it's completely gone through yet, but they've managed to get Joe Willock from Arsenal, who was on loan there last season. Played
hmm
really, really well for them last season. I think if Callum Wilson is scoring goals for them this season, I think he missed quite a bit of last season, but he looked really good for them when he was playing. Um,
getting
I've
those tricks from Andy Carroll.
yeah.
How to Andy Carroll signing off his sick note.
I see. Yeah, that was pretty what it is. There's something about the water up there. It's not far from where you are, right? You're not that far from
Yeah, yeah.
Newcastle. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Oh, Mark says
Hello, Mark.
not predictions. They've
Escapades.
gone forward in time for an almanac manual. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is otherwise known as the Back to the Future channel. We've had the first speaking of English by Lionel Messi, and now we've got the revelation that we're really time travelers. So it's all go this week. Um, so yeah, I think again Newcastle. I think Steve Bruce is a pretty good manager in that kind of level of. I think he'll keep them safe. I don't think he'll do too much more.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those ones where I mean, this is the first game that we got is against Newcastle, so I'm
Mm,
hoping that we're going to win that one
yeah.
because they did the double O on us twice last year.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I
Sad
think
times.
Newcastle are going to be a team that struggle. They
Yeah.
always will until you know they
Yeah.
sort out this stuff with the stadium and the owner and the
Yes.
and actually
Mark Ashley. No. What's his name? Mike Ashley.
Mike
Mark, I
Ashley, yeah,
can't do names today. Mike Ashley. Cashley.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Carlos says, my club was believed to get at least a spot in the Copa Libertadores, but now we're currently 19th of 20 and almost half the season. Oh, man. Carlos. Sad times.
sounds like West Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Sprinter thinks it's Ronaldo. But
yeah.
presumably if it's Brazilian, it would be the old Ronaldo, right? Not Cristiano Ronaldo. Original Ronaldo.
I've got Brentford in 14th.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I've got Brentford in
You have
20th.
no faith whatsoever.
I yeah, I'm feeling Brentford like maybe 20 points all season. So talk to me about why they're in 14th for you.
I think Brentford are going to be the surprise package this year. Like Aston Villa, they've been extremely shrewd. I mean, they've been buying players for pennies in the lower leagues, like the League One, the League Twos, and then selling them for 30, 40 million. They've sold Said Benrahma to us last
Yep,
season for 25, Ollie Watkins the season
yep.
before, and still managed to make the sort of purchases to get themselves promoted when they lost their two top players. I did a little bit of research into them because I was really struggling when I was looking at my fantasy football team.
Right.
Um, and the one player that I've been looking at for a year now actually was Ivan Toney, who they bought from,
Yeah.
I think it's either Peterborough or Portsmouth. For some reason, I always
I
get the
think
two.
it's Peterborough that they bought him from. I think.
I'm quite
Yeah.
sure it's Peterborough.
And he has scored a
Um,
lot of goals.
he scored a lot of goals. He's an absolute revelation. Will he make it in the Premier League? Who knows? But
I mean,
like I say,
that's always the question, isn't it? I
yeah.
mean, when we were talking about Adam Armstrong before, will he make it? But then you look at people like Ollie Watkins, and absolutely, it's
Yeah, I think Brentford have been, they've been League One team for years. When I lived back in London, I nearly went to go and watch them a few times because they dropped the price for kids down to £1.
Wow.
I remember one time.
Well, Mark is saying that Brentford have bloody noisy fans. I watched the Man
Yeah,
U versus Brentford friendly a couple of weeks ago. They had about 10 fans in the stand and they made more noise than us. I'm glad to hear that Mark is a fellow Man United fan. So
he
that's
is.
always
He
nice
is
to know.
indeed. He is indeed.
And
I was
Carlos is
quite
pointing.
jealous when he sent me a picture of him at Old Trafford the other
Yeah,
week.
this is a sad admission, but due to the fact that I'm not made of money, I've actually genuinely only seen one game at Old Trafford. That's how bad of a fan I am.
There's so
Carlos
many
is
nights.
also saying that if your name is Ronaldo, you have a good chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, and Cristiano. Because Ronaldinho, I believe, just means small Ronaldo. Is that right? The Enio is just
Nito
like,
Ronaldo.
yeah, it's
It's
like
like
a
old Ronaldo
diminutive.
Junior.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Ronaldo
diminutive.
Jr. Also, I'm going off on a tangent. I love the fact that in Brazil, lots of children are named after like famous footballers because footballers are such legends. So when Gary Lineker went there to cover the World Cup in 2016, no, 24,
2016.
whenever it was, I don't know. No, because it was the Euros, so it would be
14.
2014, I think. Carlos will be able to tell us. But 2014, yeah. And he met loads of kids called Lineker because Gary Lineker was the top scorer at the 86 World Cup, I think it was. So he met kids whose names were Lineker because they were named after him, which is amazing. I love it. Yeah.
Palace, both at 15.
Yeah, we both got Palace at 15. In the era after Roy Hodgson,
Patrick Vieira.
Patrick Vieira, absolutely.
And remember, my schoolmate.
Oh,
I
yes.
told you that. Yeah,
Yes,
told
yeah,
you
you
that
did.
story, didn't
Yeah. Slow Sprinter wants to know if he'll win the Ballon d'Or this year. We
I?
should do that as well.
Yes, you will. You
Messi,
will.
you
You're
reckon
gonna
Messi's going to win the Ballon d'Or?
absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
there's even a famous composer in Brazil named Lineker after the player. Amazing. Love it.
Excellent.
Yeah, so Crystal Palace. I think Patrick Vieira is a little bit untested. I mean, obviously he did okay at Nice. I think he managed New York City before that. I think Roy Hodgson was a very astute manager. I think he did well to get what he did out of that. I think so much of like Crystal Palace relies on people like Wilf Zaha. And is Andros Townsend still at Crystal Palace? I think he might be.
I think he's going.
Yeah.
Somehow I've got it in my mind that I saw that his contract was running out and he was
Oh
offered.
yes, yes. No, he has gone. Has he gone to maybe like Everton or someone like that? No,
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I clearly do plenty of research for this, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But I mean, Christian Benteke scored 10 goals last season, and he hasn't. If you combined all of the previous seasons for like the last 5 years, he's probably only scored 10 goals. So if Benteke can get scoring as well, I don't know. I think we're getting down now from about 15th. Is kind of at the level now of I think these clubs could struggle. I've obviously predicted that they'll stay up, but I think Palace could be having a struggle.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to see Paddy, as I call him from the school days,
Paddy Vieira, yeah,
do
your
really
mate.
well at
Yeah,
Crystal Palace.
yeah,
I don't want to see him fail. I want to see him do really, really well.
yeah,
Crystal Palace have got an aging squad though, and
yeah.
one of their players that they rely on a lot, Canute, was someone that West Ham let go of 3 years ago.
Yes, yeah. And they've got people like Milivojevic in midfield, who's done really
Yeah,
well for them, but again is getting a bit older.
but they've got that young fella they bought from QPR, Issa Esse.
Yeah, Ebi. I think his name is like Ebi Eze. Yeah,
Yeah,
who looked
um,
really good last season. I thought he looked
yeah,
great.
looked really, really good. I don't know if Crystal Palace is a team for him though.
Yeah,
I think he'll thrive in a team like Villa or even Arsenal. You know, he would thrive in another team. I
I
don't know
think
if Crystal Palace is the right
I
one for
don't
him.
necessarily see him and Zaha working that well together at
No.
Palace. I don't know. Apparently, the composer has written Lineker, different thing. But Mark says this is why he wants esports to take off. People naming their kids after the units in StarCraft, etc., would be excellent.
That would be.
As someone, so I do a weekly Noob Learns League of Legends stream. I like the idea of you naming your people naming their kids after champions in League of Legends. I love it. Okay, so we're definitely at the. I think probably we would both agree
There's
at this
four
point.
teams left. There's 4 teams left.
Yeah, and I think we would both agree any of these teams could definitely go to. There must be 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we talked about Brentford. Yeah, okay. Norwich. I've got Norwich at 16th. You've got them at 20th. I will say for Norwich, I think they have some very good young players. Assuming that they're still there by the start, when the transfer window closes, we always have to talk about this. They've got some great young players who I think probably just about have enough to keep them up. Norwich is the one with the small bird in this. Yes, Norwich is the Canaries, so that's a canary in their on their symbol. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I've pipped them to do well.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Can I
honestly, it's
tell
very
you
close.
why I put them right at the
Go
bottom?
for it. Yeah, yeah.
Because they are the least uh, optimistic club I have ever seen. Um, they've already sold their best player to was it Villa? I can't remember who bought. I think it was Villa. Villa bought their best player last season.
Yeah.
They did it 2 seasons ago when they got promoted last time. I think Cantwell, who probably is their best player,
Yeah.
they're already looking to offload him. They all just seem to be wanting to basically they build players up and sell them on.
Yeah.
At least Brentford actually,
I
you
think
know,
Norwich. Yeah, this is kind of where we've got them the other way around, isn't it? Because
yeah,
I've got Brentford on the ball. I think Norwich for me, um, they are very sensibly run, which is potentially the same thing as pessimistic. But I think that
yeah,
they are aware that. So some teams come up. Watford did it a few seasons ago. That you come up and you just spend hundreds of millions of pounds and try and secure your status in the top flight. Um, Norwich have not done that at all.
no,
But yeah, people like Todd Campbell. I think Max Aarons is still there, if I'm right.
I think
Who's a
so.
really
Yeah,
good
Timor
defender.
Pookie as well.
Yeah, Pookie, who didn't do it in the Premier League last time round, did he? But
Well,
he
he
did it
did in the
again in
first
the.
3 games.
Yeah, oh yeah, first 3 games. No, you're absolutely right. How silly of me to forget. Yeah, so that's kind of why I've got Norwich there. We've both got Watford at 17. As I've mentioned before, I'm going to put it out there that I grew up in Watford, so Watford are my second team. Um,
Yeah,
so
I think Watford, they've got enough talent to keep them there. I don't think the reason they went down because they messed around with the managers too much.
they've done that. So they've had something
And
like 8 managers in 3 years, or something
yeah,
ridiculous. I mean, it's
they fired their manager when they were actually in a chance of actually staying
yeah,
in the Premier League.
yeah,
Put Hayden Mullins in, former West Ham defender, who couldn't do anything to keep the morale up, and they just crumbled.
right,
So
yeah,
but that was 2 years ago. This
it
time,
was,
I think they're going to be a
it
much
was,
stronger team, a much better team. They've still got Troy Deeney. They
yeah.
brought in some fantastic players. I don't think they'll get relegated, but I have absolutely no idea where else to put them. So I just put them there.
Yeah, I think Watford are going to be right down there. I mean, it was only a couple of years ago that they got to the FA Cup final. Admittedly, they got absolutely smashed by Man City in the FA Cup final, but even
It's
so, getting
7-1 or
there,
something.
yeah, it was ridiculous. And they finished in the top half, and then they did kind of crumble. Um, Ligue 1 will be shown on Amazon, but only in France and its territories. I have an Amazon account, but it will not be shown in India. Tell France to colonise us. I think I'm not going to touch that politics,
I'm not. I'm
slow
not
sprinter.
touching that one whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. But no, I am amused by that. I'm just trying to think where the closest would be. Probably Reunion. We were talking about this, weren't we?
oh yeah,
Reunion
yeah. If you
is kind of
Reunion is actually not far from India, and it is officially French soil.
yeah.
So if you just take a I don't know plane over to Reunion, you should be fine.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, Reunion is like it's next to Madagascar. It's off the African coast, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah, it's where the
it's the remote,
surfing is going to be
most
held in the
remote
Paris
part of the
Olympics.
European Union.
Yes, there you go. Love it. Oh, Pete's redeemed to hydrate. I didn't spot that initially. Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Just change your
beginning.
Amazon account to say that you live in Reunion.
I'm
You
beginning to
should be in the
think.
same time zone.
I'm beginning to think. I don't know what's leading me to this conclusion. I'm beginning to think that slow sprinter might not actually be Lionel Messi. Saying he's in
No,
India.
he's probably in India doing training
It could
for
be, but he's
Paris.
also said he's broke. I don't think Lionel Messi's broke.
Oh
But
no, his dad keeps all the money.
yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right. Let's crack on then. So, we've talked about Norwich and Brentford, and interestingly, we both have Burnley and Brighton in different configurations, but we have them both to go down. Both have
Yeah,
been in the Premier League for a few years. Um, what's the
I,
what's the thinking?
I'm going to say one thing. I don't think Brighton have earned their Premier League spot for a very, very long time. Again, very unambitious club. Why would you get rid of Chris Heaton and then get someone in who pretty much hasn't really lifted the club any higher?
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for Graham Potter because I don't
Yeah,
think he's a bad manager,
no,
but he's not had much to work with,
no,
certainly.
no, and yeah,
Um,
I mean, again, aging squad, and they've just sold Ben White, who I don't even know. Nice speaking to you as well,
yeah,
Liam
thanks for
and
being
Mitchell.
here, Slow Sprinter.
Thank
Really
you.
nice to see you. Um,
Um, Burnley, I absolutely love Sean Dyke.
yeah, absolutely. Again, ex-Watford player and Watford manager, Sean Dyche. I mean, to be fair, if you're a football manager, there's a decent chance you manage Watford because they've had so many managers over the last few years.
Yeah,
But yes, Sean Dyche, great guy. I think he's a really good manager. I just think year on year, Burnley have had underinvestment. They've struggled. It's not too
but
long since they were up challenging for Europe, but
yeah,
I
but
just don't
they've
see it.
just been taken over by an American consortium.
They have, that's true.
Now, will that be an American consortium like Liverpool and Man United, or will it be I don't know,
Yeah.
because there's if you're going to get taken over by someone rich, you want it to be a Russian or an Arab. No offense,
Of
but they just
course.
seem to throw money at it. I
Yeah.
don't know if American consortium is the one you want to be taken over by.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I mean, definitely, most Man United fans wouldn't say that the Glazers have been a great thing
no,
for the club. Um, yeah, the guy who's bought, or the kind of head of the consortium who's bought Burnley, has said he's going to move into the area and live near there, and so I don't know.
to up to down Terraced and Burnley. Have you been there?
Funnily enough, I've not
You,
been to Burnley.
you'll have your 3 meter by 5 meter yard.
Oh man, yeah. I'm
You,
not.
you
I'm
get
going
a
to try
full
and
bucket.
steer clear of doing too much insulting of various parts of the country.
I'm not insulting. I'm
No, no,
actually
no.
being quite
Yeah, yeah.
honest. I've been there.
No, no, and yeah, yeah. PSG can vouch for the rich owner thing. Yeah, the Sheikh coming in. Um, I, yeah, yeah. So okay, so we've got Brighton and Burnley to go down. So yeah, that's life, I guess, isn't it? All right. Well, that's taken us 50 minutes to go through that. So we've got 10 minutes to talk fantasy football. So do you want to go first or second on fantasy football?
I'll go first. I can go longer if you want. If you can, I don't
Um,
mind going over. It's entirely up to you.
let's go pretty close, I think, to try and
Yeah.
try and keep it quite close to the time. All right, let's go fantasy football. So I think this is your team. I
Okay.
think.
I'll run through very quickly then.
Okay. I see a couple of Villa
Okay.
players there.
Yeah. So I'm going to start at the back. So normally, year in year out, I always go Lucas Fabianski, no matter who he's playing for, because he seems to just get a load of games and
Yeah.
a lot of saves. But with Areola joining West Ham, I didn't have a clue who was going to be playing as much.
Yeah.
So I went with Martinez at Watford and Martinez at Aston Villa
Yeah.
and Raya at Brentford,
Yep.
just purely because I think, well, I say he's Martinez has been quite a good goalkeeper for Villa, and Raya, I've got a feeling that he might be one of those ones who will constantly be keeping Brentford in it with
Yeah,
lots of.
yeah. That's the thing with goalkeepers. It's a delicate balancing act of
Yeah,
do you go for someone who's at a top team who probably won't see much action, or do you go for someone a bit lower and hope that they can
yeah.
get a
It's
save?
like the number of people who go for Allison and then wonder why
Yeah.
he doesn't get any. When
Slow
he's got
Sprinter
Van
says,
Dijk.
"Guys, I tried, but I can't live without you." That's very kind of you. It's good to see you back. Yeah, although
We're glad you're here.
yeah,
We'll look after you.
last season Allison got a goal, didn't he? I mean, he popped up with a header.
He did. He did.
Not a very common
Um,
occurrence for goalkeepers. All right.
in defence, I've got Creswell from West Ham purely
Mm-hmm.
because he is probably one of the highest scoring defenders of last year.
Mm-hmm. Generally
And
gets a few assists as well. I like Creswell.
goals. He got a
Mm,
few goals because he's our set piece. He does all our set pieces, so he gets assists on the set pieces, and he
right.
sometimes scores goals as well.
Okay.
He's very cheap for what he is, and also the fact that West Ham haven't bought any players, he's probably going to be playing most of the season.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wan-Bissaka, he's just
Yeah,
brilliant.
and
Big
Wan-Bissaka
and
was one that Man United were linked with a new right back for most of the summer, but one
yeah,
hasn't materialised. So Wan-Bissaka is basically our only first team right back. So he again will be playing a lot of games. I think probably Diogo Dalot might get a few games, but I think Wan-Bissaka will be a good solid option.
And that's the same with Luke Shaw, who really impressed me in the Euros.
Yep.
And you've been singing his praises all over the summer, so I
Yep.
thought I had to have him.
Yeah, I'm a big Luke Shaw
Um,
fan. You'll see in a minute how much of a fan of Luke Shaw I am.
I'm not sure what. Like I say, I'm happy with the formation that I've got for this weekend, but I really don't know who to put in, Shaw or Wan-Bissaka. Shaw, probably, yeah. Um, Taggart or Target? Is it Taggart?
Target.
Target.
Yeah, Matt Target.
Matt Target. He's Aston Villa, isn't he? Yeah. Again, just seemed to have really good scoring. And Dunk always seemed to be consistent for Brighton.
Although we have
Um,
both predicted they're going to get relegated, but carry on.
yeah, it's kind of more of a. I've only got so much millions left to spend on my
Yeah,
team, so I'm just going to put.
yeah. No, I get it.
Um, I think good things for Grealish in
Yep,
midfield.
yep.
Gundogan has been absolutely amazing last year. I expect that to
Yeah,
continue.
Gundogan was a beast
I
last season.
wanted to have a Leeds player in there, so I went with Dallas. Um,
I will say
I've got,
Dallas very narrowly missed out on making it into my team. He was very close to making it. I rate Stuart Dallas a lot.
I was umming and ahhing about Rice, but I think he's grown a lot in the Euros, so I thought I'd put him in.
Okay.
And again, Fernandez, he completely changes the team when he comes on,
Yeah.
and I expect to see a lot more of that. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
hopefully Lingard won't push him out of the team. That's what I'm hoping.
honestly, like last season, United played just so much better when Fernandes was in the team. So
Yeah,
basically, every
yes,
game that he could, Fernandes played. So again,
yeah.
he's a good bet to go in there.
Completely
Yeah.
different team when he
Yeah.
was on. Up front, I've got Tony. Reasons mentioned before. Ivan
Absolutely.
Tony set the championship alight. Absolutely
Hmm.
amazing player. Will he do it in the Premier League? I've actually got a lot of faith in him. I've got a hell of a lot of faith in him, and I think what I paid for him was an absolute bargain.
Yeah.
Harry Kane is going to be probably he's going to be it's a coin, isn't it? He's
Yeah.
either going to be the
Yeah.
greatest player this season, or he's
Or
just going to be
yeah.
heartbroken, and that's all
Yeah.
entirely up to Tottenham.
Yeah.
And I put Pookie in again purely because you never know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He might,
Like you say,
yeah.
first three games of last season, if he does the same this time, you can get some points and then ditch him, and you'll be fine.
Everyone sold their
Yeah.
team to get Pookie in now after the
Yeah.
first three
And then
matches.
regretted it. I'll
I
just
see
talk you
yours.
through my team in a second, but I do like the fact that it kind of vaguely looks like I've got a door here next to me, and it kind of looks like if I open the door, I'll be out onto the playing field next to me. The
Yeah.
way I've set
Oh,
this overlay up.
can
Um,
I just ask? I know
yeah.
Carlos said he's a massive fan of fantasy football league. I would like to ask your audience
Mm.
which one of us has the best team name.
Oh, you'll win. Go on then. Tell them what your name is.
Well, I just realised we can't actually put it on the screen because it. Mine are the Luke's Kyle Walkers,
Which is infinitely. I didn't even try and come up with a clever name for mine. So
which is a pun on Kyle Walker.
yes, Luke's Kyle
Wait,
Walkers.
Englishman.
I do like it. Okay, so let's pop over to my team. There we go. Bosh. So I couldn't make them the same size, but it's all good. So starting at the back, I've gone for Kasper Schmeichel. I think he did brilliantly in the Euros. I think he also looked great like last season. He pulled off some really good saves. I kind of always thought of him as a solid goalkeeper and not a great deal more. But the kind of end of last season and the Euros has changed my mind to think he's a really good goalkeeper.
Mm.
And I've gone for Sanchez at Brighton as my backup. He looked pretty good last season. Honestly, I can't imagine him unless Schmeichel gets injured. I can't imagine him getting many games in my team, but he's pretty good. I've gone for Creswell at right back as well. Same reasons as you. Scores a lot of goals, gets a lot of assists. It's kind of about fantasy football is not necessarily about picking the best players, but picking the ones that score you the most points. So I think
Yeah.
Creswell is a good one for that. Diaz, Ruben Diaz, Man City. He'll get lots of clean sheet points. I think he'll also get some goals. He's a great defender. Whether he's worth the money for the points he'll get me or not, I don't know. But I really rate him as a defender. Ben White, I kind of I don't know. I basically bought him because he was cheaper than I expected, and I still expect Arsenal to get some clean sheets.
It's kind of a someone priced it up wrong in the supermarket, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
deal.
don't need it, but you'll buy it.
Yeah. So I don't know about Ben White. Connor Cody is my backup defender, who I think he's a good defender. And at Wolves again, partly it depends how Wolves do at the start of the season. I think he's a good defender. I think he's a solid option, so he might get subbed in. Shaw at left back, same as you. He gets a lot of goal involvement. He'll get a lot of games at United this season, I think. So he's a good one to go for. I'm set up as a 4-4-2 here, but basically just because I forgot that I could change the formation. So that's why we've got this. Bruno Fernandes, yeah, can't beat it. I've gone for Jadon Sancho. I kind of, as a Man United fan, I just want him to get off to a good start. So I'm kind of putting my money where my mouth is, trying to get that. I think he will. I think he'll be a good player for United. He was worth. I had to pay a bit of money for him, but I've also gone for Billy Gilmore.
Yeah, I'm gutted because I really liked him at the Euros.
Yeah, I think he's a really good player. He's on loan there. He's on loan at Norwich from Chelsea. Looked great at the Euros. I think he will get the. I think I will get the. Sorry, I'm just trying to read the thing. I think he'll get a lot of games there.
Yeah.
Ward Prowse. Again, a lot of like free kick involvement. He takes free kicks. I think he takes corners. He'll get a lot of involvement from that kind of thing. Kane, yet again, we've talked about Kane. Who knows what we'll get from him? And Patrick Bamford's got a lot of goals for Leeds last season. And if Leeds get up to like 6th, which is where you had them in the league, I think he'll get a lot again this season. In terms of backup, I went for Souček in midfield because I think he brings a lot to West Ham.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a beast.
He's the one that I've struggled between him and Kane, him and Rice.
Yeah, and Troy Deeney again. This is probably my Watford coming through, but I think he's a handful for a lot of defences. So I think he may well get some good points.
And he's penalty taker for Watford as well.
He is. Although whether Watford will get near enough the penalty area to win any penalties or not, another question. But So just before we go, Slow Sprint has said top 4 centre backs currently in the world, according to both of us. That is a tough question. I think, based on form, I'll be honest. Like my knowledge of every different league around the world is probably not up to answering this completely.
I'm just going to say Van Dijk.
I think see. I don't want to say Van Dijk. I
don't want to say Van Dijk.
No, I don't, because as a Man United fan, I don't want to praise any Liverpool players, but he is obviously a very good defender. I genuinely think Raphael Varane, coming to Man United, is one of the best centre backs in the world. I think Diaz, who I've mentioned there at Man City, was immense last season. Absolutely immense.
Would you put Harry Maguire in there?
I wouldn't put Harry Maguire in there. I think Harry Maguire is a good defender. I think he's a good leader. I think he has weaknesses which can be exploited. And I think having someone like Varane next to him will be a really good way of protecting him and the team. I think they'll make a good partnership. But I don't think I could honestly... Craig Dawson.
You laugh, but if you actually look at his stats, he was actually the highest, one of the most consistent centre backs in the Premier League last year.
Have you now bought him? Because he was on loan from Watford, wasn't he?
Yes,
is he officially a West Ham player, right?
Yeah.
Slow Sprint. I assume that said no to Maguire being considered up there. No, I would agree. I think, as I say, I think he does some things very well, but I think he needs a top level centre back next to him to allow him to play at that level. So I don't think I could include him as a top 4 centre back in the world. It's an interesting one actually, because like Sergio Ramos a few years ago would be up there. He's just gone to PSG as well on a free as well. Puyol. That's going back a long time. That's not who I meant. I meant the guy who was at Man United and now is at Barcelona. Why has my brain gone blank? Piqué, there we go. Gerard Piqué. Yeah, he was at Man United and then went to Barcelona. I think, again, I'm not sure I would necessarily put him up there right now. I don't know. Let's have a quick shout out from chat. Who would you
Yeah,
guys put there? Marquinhos is a great centre back at PSG as well.
I don't know any other outside of the Premier League, to
Um,
be honest. I don't know anywhere
yeah,
near as well enough.
Marquinhos at it's the centre back at PSG is very very good, very very
Mhm.
good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a difficult one. I think I honestly probably Van Dijk is up there, which is a bit sad for me. Um, yeah, I don't know. But I'd be interested to hear what you have other thoughts um, from you guys. I yeah, I don't think there are as many real standout centre backs as there were a few years ago. Maybe this is just me looking back with like rose tinted glasses, but people like Sergio Ramos who would struggle. Slow Sprinter says according to him, Van Dijk is world class. I think honestly, I'm
Yeah, you
grumpy because I don't like saying nice things about Liverpool players. I do think he is. I think he had a few dodgy times. I mean, he was out for a lot of last season anyway, but he had a few slightly dodgy times at the beginning of last season. Chiellini is still playing, yes,
have.
but he is 37, 38.
He looks a lot older than both of us, though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite funny. I was during
Mm,
the Euro
yeah.
final. Um, some group of friends in the Discord chat, and one of the girls just said, "How old is this man?" And it was that picture of him pulling back
Oh yeah, by
Saka.
the neck.
And it
Yeah.
said, "There's a reason why I don't stand next to any young people in photographs because I look really, really old." And
Yeah.
obviously, someone needs to tell Cellini that as well.
Yeah, so Chiellini. So obviously,
Chiellini's
Italy won the Euros with Chiellini and Bonucci at the back, both of whom are late 30s. Which, like, they clearly are very good. They clearly are very good defenders, but I think just at that age, you need to play around their weaknesses, which for me kind of means therefore that they're not quite top five,
no, I
top
wouldn't
four
call
material. Um,
Chiellini.
I
No.
think the question next was and top five midfielders, but our stream time is up. So my
Yes, I'm
suggestion
afraid.
is let's come back next week, Slow Sprinter, and we will talk top five midfielders in the world then, along with reflecting on the first week of the Premier League season and all sorts of other things. And we can
Mm.
talk, top fives of
Hopefully,
other
I won't
things.
be crying.
Um, yes. So yeah, no, but that's thank you everyone for joining in the conversation. That's kind of what this is about. We've talked before, like so both Andy and I are massive nerds, and we love doing all the nerdy things, but we also love sport, and we want to be able to kind of bring those together. But this is also just a place for everybody to be able to come and chat. It's not just for us to talk to each other; it's for everybody to chat with us. So yeah, thank you so much for coming along and being part of the conversation today. I am back in the morning. I'm back at 10 a.m. Good stuff. I'm back at 10 a.m. tomorrow for Coffee Chat Minis, and tomorrow we have a serious debate. It's a top five. It is top five snacks to eat while gaming. I'm not sure. I'm not sure we'll be able to handle all the fire that's going to come out from this conversation. But this is. Well, I'll be joined by Bella Lurian tomorrow at 10 a.m. and we'll be talking top five snacks to eat while
Olives,
gaming. Sorry,
olives,
olives.
especially stuffed olives. They're awesome, and a
Okay. Well, if
little cocktail stick.
if you're around in the morning, again, it will be for people to throw in their thoughts. So do send that. I don't think that will be in my top five, nor do I think Mark Lobster will make it in my top five. Um, but don't let that stop you. Please come along.
Obviously, you and Pog are quite not as cultured gamers as
Well,
myself
I
and
mean,
Mark.
absolutely. I don't think I've ever eaten lobster and olives in while I'm gaming. But yeah, that will be the topic. I mean, I don't know. Pog's a bit posher than me, so maybe he'll come in with all these.
He is a bit posh.
Yeah, what can you do? It's all
May I
good.
do a channel plug?
Yeah, of course.
So obviously, I'm also a YouTuber over on Geek Curio. Just to let you know that we start have stock arrived, so this will be going up on web. Well, we'll be launching the Etsy store soon, hopefully, and it's basically cheap gaming stuff for gamers. I will be doing a unboxing of this behind me, which is the Reaper core set. You want to see this because no one got this apart from me apparently. The Daimyo set,
Ah,
which has got a Oriental style dragon, and the big box is a pirate ship.
boom. Love
which
it.
is going to
Love
be
it.
amazing.
So
So I'm
next,
going to,
sorry,
yeah.
I was just going to say
I don't
next
know when I'm going to be
weekend.
doing
Yeah, next
that.
weekend, what we should do is top five, and we can pick our top five minis from the core set or something. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd be
good.
awesome. Okay, right. Well, I won't stick around any longer because I've got
Yeah,
something else I have to go. But as ever, it was great chatting with you, Andy, and it was great having you guys with us. Do come along, to any of the other streams. Obviously, you can see the schedule, and yeah, you can come along if not before next week, 4 p.m. again on Friday, Sports Tavern, and we will answer all of your questions. So yeah, hopefully
and
we'll see you
everyone,
soon.
come on your irons.
Bye now.